Both of the bears in the community finally get a chance to face off.
Yeah, so I'll just step on something I was going to do. I was joking that as soon as this ended before SCL, I wanted to have a fun little joke tournament called the Bear Invitational that was going to be just one match between these two, and then I was going to send them a little bear head trophy and all that goofy stuff. Then they met in the tournament, and I realized I should probably just do it this way. Unfortunately, that means I don't get to employ any of my fun ideas, like any spy win is salmon is worth 2, for example. Don't get to do that. Instead, we're just going to play a nice normal set, but we do get to see which bear is the biggest.
Oh man, this is gonna be a whole lot of fun for a whole different reason.
Yeah. And
but
it looks like we're going to start on Veranda.
We are starting on Veranda, but keep in mind, this isn't just because Bear. This is also to figure out who goes up against Kaylee in the grand finals of the first Spy Party Winter Cup.
Yeah, it's not just that. I mean, I would say this is slightly more important. Obviously, the Bear Trophy, far more valuable than the Winter Cup title, for which there is no hardware, unfortunately. But there's a lot at stake in this match and the next one, for sure.
All right, starting things off, it's going to be Lazybear opening as the spy on Veranda, abearRAWR as the sniper. WODAR, count us in.
Yeah, sorry. I need to fix the scoreboard because I'm not bad at my job.
That's fine. So we'll just talk very briefly about these two. Lazybear, the winner of the Challenger tournament in SCL4, which was stacked. So that is a big, big win. Don't let the Challenger name fool you. There were some excellent players there for sure. abearRAWR has hardly played competitive at all. He was a sub in the Summer Cup and did fine there, but has barely played anything, no pun intended. He's coming up at around 5,000 games, though. Beat yours truly in the group stages. Not a lot of book on him. There's a handful of streams, but very few replays. So he's a bit of an unknown quantity. So for people who like to prep for their matches, like myself and a lot of other players still in the Winter Cup, very hard to do against him. Leaves a lot of potential to surprise people.
Well, let's see how these two face up against each other. Lazybear starting things off on the spy. Count us in, WODAR.
All right. 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, quite a matchup. Two different bears. On one side, a grizzled veteran. On the other, his polar opposite. It's going to be pandemonium.
It begins.
It begins, and it probably won't end.
Oh, no. All right, well, we didn't get that flirt we usually like to start with, so instead, we're going to chat up the ambassador to open the game.
Yeah, pretty standard, certainly.
Ambassador does not approve.
No, ambassador's not a fan.
Very, very slow start from Lazybear so far.
Well, he is lazy.
You're not wrong. This is an accurate statement. Starting things off with a fingerprint of all things. That doesn't usually get to happen. The briefcase does get successfully returned. A little bit of a weird path against the ambassador there as we finally step in to get our first flirt at the exact opposite bookcase than we originally tried to.
Yeah, so you're gonna be a little suspicious for a lot of stuff here early on. Just being at two shelves on Veranda, where it can be very easy to miss microfilm, especially if it's an animation transfer, you might want to lean into that now because you might be suspecting the microfilm regardless.
But keep in mind, Lazybear never actually got into the blue bookcase pad.
And in the red.
Yes, good point.
Contact comes off, so lots of progress coming in pretty quick here. We've got the contact, half a flirt, and a fingerprint. Just under 2.5 minutes to play.
Does knock out 2 highlights, however.
That is very true.
But not many overall. That's pretty darn good for Veranda. There's a lot of activity on that side. It's very dense over there.
Definitely keeping a pretty good eye on the party as he steps back in, hoping for a 2 flirt with seduction target here, and does hit it. That's another mission complete.
So here's the point. It's Veranda. You might want to lean into the rush now a little bit if you can get a quick fingerprint. I don't know. Getting that 2 flirt is really big. There's still 2 minutes left, and you're not a big suspect. Smallman's on the far right statue, by the way.
Well, opted not to go for the purloin when he had that chance, so probably not going to rush too hard. Does come all the way around to the blue side of the map to pick up a pair of inspects, though.
And this certainly signals an intent to finish. I think what he's going to try to do is he's going to do all the soft tails and just try to find good timing on one hard tail near the end.
Interestingly enough, one cycles the statue and only picks up a single inspect while he's there. Now, switching out with his twin at the front statues.
Yeah, tagged in. Really, it's the twin tag team. I actually like the single. If you're going to do a single cycle at either one, do the one on the far back right like that, because there's just a slightly larger chance that you're not going to be seen there at all.
And gets the fingerprint at the same time. We're 4 missions down. 50 seconds to play. We've got bug available. We've got swap available.
I think a purloin on the far left near the green bookshelf might be the way to go here.
I think so, especially if we don't get a really nice lineup on the ambassador.
Yeah, bug is
ideal. It looks like he's being guarded pretty carefully.
Bug is ideal if you're not seen. It's totally off screen. It's totally off screen.
Oh, the bug! It was
totally
perfect.
Off screen.
It
He's gonna win this. What a game!
Lazybear.
Oh my goodness! What a game! That 4 soft tails, well spaced out. And then in a totally invisible bug at the end, and the reason he got away with the bug is because he did all 4 soft tails without becoming a suspect. That was the key.
Yeah.
He was not. If one of your suspects in the last minute of Veranda takes that kind of path near the ambassador, you are changing your camera angle and you're zooming in. The fact that that didn't happen means he wasn't a suspect, even though he had 4 missions done.
What a beautiful game of Spy from Lazybear on Veranda. Let's see if abearRAWR can answer back.
Roar back at him. Yeah, well, abearRAWR, an excellent spy. Yeah, I heard that. Okay. All right.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, playing it.
I think you're hurting our host.
I'm not sorry.
All right. Well, starting things off, quick flirt and go, but it takes a little bit longer to get that flirt than you would normally like to stay there in that situation, and the highlight does come off.
Yeah, Lazybear on that, but it's Veranda. You're gonna have a lot of highlight.
Lining up for an early contact as well. Just waiting for a few more people to get in conversation.
Yeah, you want to be very careful. You just saw 2 people at stat, so at the very least, you should be aware that those 2 are, slightly more suspicious. You really got to get a good banana bread here.
Yeah, decides not to take the one he had lined up. Instead, picks up the second flirt at 68%. Does stop talk right after, interestingly enough.
Yeah, you can get away with that. Not only are you on Veranda, but you're on the back of the conversation there with people in front of you. If someone wants to camp the occasional stop talk, especially when you're interrupted half the time anyway, on Veranda, I say more power to him. You're going to miss a lot of other stuff.
Stepping into blue bookcase. Book gets marked, so Lazybear actively marking books.
Yeah, and one of the tricky parts about blue is sometimes you look over and there's just no one else over there. You get a nice clear view, you don't risk that much, and you have to walk so far. That's why people love that green to red or red to green book cheese.
Absolutely. And abearRAWR does take that blue book all the way over to the other side of the map to pick up this next flirt. I don't know if we're in range. Oh, and we're not in range. It's 97%. That hurts a little bit.
That hurts a lot. And what else hurts is that if you are planning, I think if you put this book on the wrong shelf, you're probably going to die.
Yeah.
Or at least with a decent chance of it. But if you put it all the way back in blue, suddenly time is an issue because the flirt isn't done and nothing else is. No inspects. There's 1 mission, but there's less than 2 minutes left. If you're going to walk...
The green. He's taking it to green. He just drops it and steps into statues. I love that play.
Wow. It's all...
Straight up swaps it.
It's all or nothing.
God, that couldn't have been intentional, right?
I don't see how. I don't think anyone had been there recently, so he's really just hoping that Lazybear is confused or figures, oh god, I must have missed somebody there or something and overthink. In theory, Lazybear should be in control of this game right now.
But Lazybear does very much seem confused. Actually, when he saw him at that statue, neutral at him, and then went, wait a second, something's going on here, and highlighted him again. So Lazybear isn't nearly as on top of this as he'd like to be, as abearRAWR finally steps in to finish this flirt.
Yeah, look, it's not feasible to catch the swap fade or anything like that on Veranda every single time, but it really needs to be narrowed down to at least a few people when you're sure that swap has gone off.
Seduction bails, but he hits a green test on the Purloin. What a crazy game!
I can't believe it. I can't believe this might work, this rush of aggression.
There's the flirt getting done.
Who's going to take it? It's all lowlights in this part of the venue. It's all lowlights here. If one of them takes it...
Oh, man.
He's got a beat on the list.
It's right on camera. It's right there. I don't think he saw the fade.
No,
I don't think he saw the fade. It was so much there. He's got the shot lined up, but
you got to do it.
Look like he wants to take it.
He's thinking.
And, oh my God! abearRAWR fires back in dramatic fashion.
I hate to do it this way, but I have to think that was lost more by Lazybear than won by abearRAWR. I don't know if the swap was intentional, but whether it was or not, he still had to finish another hardtail after that. There's no earthly reason he should have been able to get away with it, except Lazybear just isn't confident about it. Maybe he's worried he missed someone. He did leave that statue relatively unguarded. He looked at the middle of the venue for a very long time. Maybe he was worried that someone got in and out really.
Oh my God. I'm not even going to pretend that I understand what happened in that game, but we're tied at 1 to open the set, heading into Ballroom. Any 4 of 8.
All right. 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, I'm going to say a little bit of unforced error there, but it's one of the arguments for do missions as a null hypothesis and dare them to beat you, because sometimes they doubt themselves, they miss something. Aggression can be its own justification, no matter how crazy it looks in the moment.
Lazybear, stepping back on the horse on the spy side, gets a 50% flirt to open up the game. He could just timer flirt. This is still in range.
I like that in this analogy there's a bear riding a horse. I would love to see that.
Yes.
The bear gets back on the horse. Don't feel very good for the horse right now.
Oh my God. Okay. This is just never going to stop. I have accepted that now.
No, I have a list. So we're gonna get through
this. That's a list. All right. Well, set up for the second seduce here. Oh my God. And hits the 2 flirt.
Yeah, big deal. Gives you a lot of options. Again, the rush becomes more interesting when something like this happens.
Absolutely, and it looks like he's stepping right on over to... Oh, I thought this was going to be contact, but no, it was a briefcase that didn't wind up happening. Now stepping in to the window to eye up the party a little bit.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. On Ballroom, you know, it's not quite tan, but there's going to be a lot of possible bugs if you're not watching it as closely as you could be. So you're going to want to be keeping an eye on that. Oh, I'm pretty sure that was just seen. That was just seen.
That hurts. It didn't even take.
Oh, goodness. I think this game's going to end real quick.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're in a bad situation here, Lazybear.
I think Lazybear's about to put the die in Ursa die.
And the end of red.
That might be enough, but if he's got a really good mission count, all this is early enough that he might wait for one more mission.
I mean, Lazybear, in a situation like this, you just have to assume you got away with it, and that's what Lazybear's doing.
Yeah, so what's interesting here is abearRAWR, a lot of people are wondering why is he not shot yet, right? It's been a couple minutes. You've heard the banana bread go off. You saw a possible bug, certainly. So I think what's going on here is that abearRAWR is actually, compared to most snipers, just really good at tracking mission progress, especially when he's tunneling on someone, when he has a suspect he's trying to track. I think in this case, he is tracking him, and he's just very confident that missions are not done.
Yeah, I think abearRAWR has to assume that bug took, even though it didn't.
Right.
So,
but he's still safe, assuming that there's no 4th mission.
That, however, was quite a nice bug.
That was a fantastic bug. The problem is, he did the other one first.
Yeah, he's already pegged for having a bug done, unfortunately. And look at the timer. There's 5 seconds. So even though we do get this purloin off, and the list wasn't visible at the time...
It's still, yep, doesn't matter. All over it. And here's another thing, too. Not only do you get, the overtime beeps there, but there's nobody at statues. And as we know, if you're not sure in overtime, sometimes it makes sense to just shoot someone near a mission site, and statues are a very popular choice. Yeah. So I don't think it was going to work regardless, but all the ways in which that sort of aggressive maneuver normally works were not present.
Interestingly enough, we never really found out whether or not abearRAWR saw that bug.
Yep, it's possible he just saw the purloin. You're right. He might have missed it. I mean, that's the thing when you do 2 hardtails. What's interesting there is that the spy's game sense is crucial, because if they think I might have gotten away with both of those, the attempt and the bug, they probably go to center statues and maybe force a very difficult shot out of it. But if they're worried all game, oh god, he saw it, now I just have to play it cool, or it's going to be very hard for me to finish, then you rush something else. You do a hardtail instead of the center statue visit like that, because you don't have to survive as long, and that maybe inadvertently gets you killed.
Well, whatever wound up happening in that game, abearRAWR is now stepping in to the spy side of things as Lazybear picks up the rifle.
All right. 3, 2, 1, playing it.
abearRAWR does start things off at center statue, but unless the Bling Twin 1 cycles here, he's not going to be able to get...
Okay, normally when you swap immediately, it's A, not after a couple of inspects, and B, not a green.
I assume what happened there was he was just on muscle memory for 3 inspects, and because there wasn't a 3rd inspect available, he swapped.
Are you saying there's a chance here that he might win a swapping accident?
Oh, that bug!
Doesn't matter, okay.
Okay, all right,
okay.
Cool.
Well, now we'll never know.
2-2.
Now we'll never know. For a second, I thought, oh my goodness, are swaps really going to win him another game? But no. Lazybear seems to have settled in a little bit this time, at least.
Oof.
Yep.
That was beautiful.
It was something. The interesting thing about that game to me is that abearRAWR has shown so much aggression as spy that there's a real possibility now of slow playing into a civ shot later if he times it well. Something to look out for.
Okay. Well, now that bug happened, it's time to step in to Terrace, with Lazybear on the spy side of things and abearRAWR on the sniper.
In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And Smallman is an SDA. The dangers of not making them your seduction target, I'm afraid.
That is very true. No, Smallman is the double agent.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I forget that you know the double agent in this one, but the thing is, the point is they cannot be the spy, and that always hurts.
It does. Although it was very much avoidable in setup.
Yeah. KDA, known double agent on this one.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Once again, both statue missions taken off, so the only suspicious thing to do at the statues is pick up a fingerprint, of which there was not one there. So Lazybear just spends the first portion of the game being as inconspicuous as possible before stepping into the second flirt.
Yep, and that's a highlight on Alice. That could either be for the fingerprint or for the possible purloin. We'll have a better idea now when we see Teal here in a second go to as well.
Oh boy! We're at 62% on the flirt, which is unfortunate.
It is, but it's a fine place to be because you're probably going to get a chance to finish any. It really doesn't matter that much. You just can't 4 usually.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's time to contact the double agent. Yeah, there it is. We did it.
And it knocks out the fingerprinter in Alice and 2 bar visitors.
Oof. That's rough.
Yeah. Now, Smallman does leave just afterwards, but if the sniper is confident they saw the timing, it won't be any benefit. Let's see if Teal gets a low light for that redirect. Let's see.
It was a pretty good redirect on the briefcase.
Well, you also don't need to go fishing for lowlights right now. You can kind of just keep it in the back of your head, because you really just don't have that many people to monitor down to 5.
That is true. That's bold. I like that positioning.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot. I'm just as likely to think of it as AI as spy. And you're just probably not tracking flirts. You just don't need to. It's still not the optimal use of your attention.
Yeah. So 96% on the flirt because of that bit of distance we gave ourselves earlier in the game. That was unnecessary, Lazybear. You didn't have to do that.
Yep. We're about to get our second mission done, though, but we're going to be into the beeps with a third mission yet to come, and it doesn't look like anyone's going to finish here. Alice knocked out again with that early fingerprint.
The ambassador gets snuggly, though, is so dangerous. He's staring it down and not able to get any bug off. 15 seconds, it has to be over. No, he's just took the shot and was too worried about the bug. And luckily, it was the correct person anyways.
Yeah, maybe just for the talking. He did talk kind of quick going in there. And when you only have a few people left, that it becomes shockingly easy to notice that kind of thing sometimes. But yeah, you also have to say, you know what, no matter how good I think I am at catching bug, sometimes you just miss them. And this person could be done.
That's very true. Lazybear and abearRAWR are really trading blows back and forth throughout this entire set so far. First, spy sweep, then a sniper sweep. Let's see if abearRAWR can break the trend, or if Lazybear on the sniper will stay level.
They're really going at each other with their bare arms.
Is that even a saying? I don't know. 3,
2, 1, playing it.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Track.
You can't get mad at me and then say something like that.
I think he's trying to retaliate.
Yeah, okay. And a lot of activity. Normally, you have a lot of flirt cover and full conversations early on, but none here. abearRAWR going to the same statue that Lazybear did to try to burn off suspicion at the start of the game last time.
It was like everyone opened the game by vacating the center of the map.
Yep. But the inspect is totally different this time because that mission is on. Bug is off.
Interesting choice to remove Bug.
It also means that statue visit early on means something completely different last game.
This is very true. abearRAWR now stepping in to the bar.
I don't know if this will be
here.
Yeah. Don't know if that'll be a purloin or not. We'll see what the options are. Hopefully paying attention to other suspects here.
And finally stepping in for this first flirt with just under 2 minutes to play.
And Alice, it looked like she was going to go to statues, but no, it was a briefcase instead. But you'll take it. This is AI's doing things.
Good pickup from the flirt there, though. 51% off the first one, which is nice.
And he's watching Alice very closely right now, both of them.
Absolutely.
But sometimes the AIs will tease you. They'll do an inspect, they'll do a fingerprint, and then nothing else. The whole game.
Absolutely. Minute and 15 to play as we step in for our second flirt. If we could hit a green test here, that would be very nice. There's the delegate. There's the white test on the flirt, and the delegate does not come off in time.
No, and it was going to Alice too, I think, which was really interesting. He definitely has a sense of who the suspects are here. They're both on the same page about Alice, basically. Instead, abearRAWR is going to go try to finish without finishing, so to speak. Finish, potentially without the BB from Lazybear's perspective. So that's going to be the real moment of truth.
Well, second statue visit. Inspects are done, but there is no contact done. There is no flirt done.
Yeah, that white test right now is really hurting us. And he's gonna want to BB with Alice anyway, because even though she hasn't done with fingerprints, as a sniper, sometimes you're gonna say, not that inconceivable. Maybe there's a difficult I didn't notice. You might be tempted to shoot, but the DA might not even give us a chance here.
No, he's going full timeout strats, which I don't think you can do without a contact.
He's gonna go to the window.
It's gonna be the last second green. Does he hit it? He does hit it.
And here comes the pending. It can only be a couple things. It can only be a delegate purloin, but no one's going to bar, so knows it or should. And he's got some lowlights out of it. He's got this narrowed down.
Taking a fingerprint? There's no time for this.
I mean, I think he's just trying to act AI-ish. I don't know. Maybe he's going to rush it with that statue over there, but there's no DA. Like, what is this? Flirt and then go to that statue?
We still have 32 seconds to play.
You could go for another green time ad and really mess with him. No, it's going to be a quick window leap dead. He's going to flirt, and I guess he's going to go to that stat fingerprint. Insta-talk.
I think the timer's doing weird things because the spy timer is moving really very slowly.
And he's just going to purloin directly. Is he going to overthink this? Oh, no!
No!
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. That shouldn't work. That shouldn't work.
That should not work.
That should not work. I don't get it. I guess he's thinking Pearl's time ads and then delegates. Has she even been to bar recently? Let me see here. She was at bar at 30 seconds, which is actually much longer than it sounds like because of the time ad. I'm not sure if that would have lined up or not. Ooh. Jeez.
Man, that is...
I think that might have been just under the minute thing, but I don't know. I don't know. Aggression for its own sake, man. It works.
I don't think you can hold a purloin from... You can't force pending just by having a delegate in your pocket, right?
No, not that long. No, you have to delegate. You have to actually trigger it. So he must have thought, if he was thinking it through it completely and perfectly thoroughly, that it would have been a green time ad by Pearls into a delegate, like literally at the very end of the timer expiring, like within seconds, like perfectly timed last second delegate. But one thing to keep in mind, I think they're mentioning this in chat a little bit, there's a little, I don't know if you want to call it a bug or not, but sometimes the fade animation will happen after the game registers the take. So it'll seem like a beep beforehand. That's thrown me off. I've actually lost a handful of games that way myself until I learned the hard way like that. That might have been the case here. In this case, it just happens that the person he was next to was one of the people who wasn't low light for the time. And it works. Somehow, improbably, the aggression works again.
Either way, that is a very rough loss for Lazybear on our third map. We're halfway done, and the abearRAWR is up 4-2 as we step into gallery.
All right. 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And Lazybear's looked really good at Spy, but just a little shaky at Sniper. I feel like he's playing 90% of a good Sniper game, and then just not quite finishing it off.
What happened? We gave the ambassador a hug.
Yeah, a little stutter step. It's not too bad. There's going to be a lot happening on gallery, said and done, but it's just not a good way to start.
It's really not. As far as we can tell, he came out of it okay. Now picking up a briefcase for that first fingerprint. Has the 51% flirt from early in the game, so he's not doing badly.
Yeah, look, it's noticeable, it matters, but like the flirt tracking stuff earlier, it's just, is this really the most efficient use of your resources on Gap to care too much about that?
Probably not. Probably not.
Probably not. If you're Lazybear, you've been doing what you need to as Spy. What you're really saying is I need to keep playing well as Spy, force him into some tough shots, especially on a map like Gallery, and just don't let him get away with these things in these little bursts or at the end of these Spy games. That's what you need to do. You really need to shore up your Sniper game. You don't really need to change what you're doing as Spy. It's tempting when you're behind to think you need to do everything differently, but you don't. You need to isolate the problem. The problem is not your Spy game right now. Keep playing that way, the way you've been playing.
Well, Lazybear picks up a pair of inspects and grabs a highlight for his trouble. Now stepping out to the front conversation to pick up, wanted the flirt.
And
Target was happy about it.
That green test earlier is looking more and more important. Yeah, if you start to head out all the way and your ST leaves on the way on Gallery, that can swing the entire game.
Not a good situation. Might just go for a time ad here. We've got to zoom in. Lazybear is theoretically on camera, but it's definitely not where abearRAWR is looking. The time ad has come off cleanly, I think, and there's no reaction.
Hard to say, for sure, but definitely very focused on that Ambo, who was in a buggable position for a few seconds.
Now stepping into conversation to pick up a No! Come back! Come back, seduction target! Why do you do this? Alright, we're just gonna have to take this drink, are we? Nope, we're not!
Yeah, this seduction target is making for very difficult targets. This is a very small target, let's say.
This has been rough.
Yeah, this is pretty rough. I don't know if it's going to matter or not. Lazybear only has a progress so far, but it really sabotages the game sometimes. Make a point to flirt, you decide you want to flirt, and the SC just keeps moving.
Difficult fingerprint doesn't hit it.
I think that was one of your few ways out. I
Yeah.
think now you're going to have to rush. You're going to have to hope someone else finishes. And I just don't see how you're going to get all this done. You have this really nice partial progress here on a number of fronts, but you only have a minute left, even with the time out.
Yeah, we could have gotten another 2 flirts by this point if she just hung around a little bit longer, and that would have changed the entire face of the game. But
Yeah.
with so little time left, he does hit the 2 flirts. So
That helps.
should be big.
Yeah, the problem is you're still kind of at the mercy of the ambassador. In gallery, you're likely to have several good bug opportunities in the game, but you're not likely to necessarily get one within any given minute of the game, especially the last minute where they're watched that much more closely. So you're still at the mercy of the party a little bit here, unless the Amba does something nice like lets you finish Inspects and Fingerprint at the same time, but that doesn't seem very likely.
It might just be fake contact time.
Oh, goodness, is this going to line up? I don't think there's going to be time.
Oh boy.
He's just going to have to beat Purloin and beat B.
He just contacts, and the shot comes off before he can even grab the drink.
Yeah, so it could be a mix of things. Suspicious of the time ad, the timing is really suspect, and maybe, remember, he's got 1 fingerprint, and there was a difficult fingerprint, so he might say, you know what, I think he could be done with that. And if he did that difficult fingerprint, that would have been the 4th mission. So I think probably partially time ad, but also tracking fingerprints pretty close to that game. Also didn't feel like there were many fingerprints available. I think that was an unusually unlucky time to try to fingerprint on that particular gallery.
Well, abearRAWR up by 3 now. It's 5-2. Lots of momentum starting to roll as abearRAWR takes the spy side. This is a really big game for Lazybear. He really needs to win this to stay in it, I think.
I think so, yeah.
All right. Playing. 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Playing it 2-1-3. Good luck figuring out when I hit play, everybody. Just keeping us on our toes, man. Just keeping us on our toes. Speaking of being on your toes, it's Smallman on gallery.
Smallman, immediate highlight. That's how you play against Smallman.
Yep, and he's going to go up on his toes to lift the statue.
He actually does, doesn't he?
A little bit. I know he does it for the bar Purloin, which is a lovely little touch. John Semino, we love you.
Under 3 minutes.
I kind of like the early statue sometimes if you're planning on completing them eventually. You want to let a lot of stuff happen in canon. It's not ideal. Look, they're going to know you did it. But gallery is one of those venues like Veranda or Library where sometimes if you do something suspicious in the beginning of the game, after 2 more minutes of just chaos in a busy party, it kind of fades from it.
Smallman has spent so much time directly on camera that he almost got neutral lit.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. You're just not going to be inconspicuous as Smallman. That's not why you play.
Yeah. Well, he grabs a briefcase. There's no fingerprint on it, though.
Yeah, just a lot of wasted time. I guess maybe that's the idea, You try to lose the natural Smallman heat. Normally you're losing heat because you did a mission. In this case, he's losing heat for existing, and there's the bug.
The bug was pretty
darn hard to see, too. Yeah. It's just a really risky time to bug, but it's out front, so he's just not watching it that closely, even though it's Smallman.
It wasn't an easy bug to spot either.
No.
Like, even if you were looking for it.
But then again, that's the thing. It's Smallman on gallery, so it's the kind of bug you have to credit.
Yeah. Well, back into statues.
And I think it's just going to be a standard finish now. He's just going to say, if you didn't see that bug, are you really going to shoot just Smallman 2 statue visits? Is that all it's going to take for you? Nobody likes to shoot for that. It's nerve-wracking. You might have to. Those are shots you feel you have to take, not shots you like.
Keep in mind, double agent just decided to be kind to us. We don't have that much time left, and he can be hard to contact sometimes, but he's in now.
What's interesting is...
Look at the rest of the party!
It's so many lowlights. It's so many. But you've already done the bug, so take it and you give him the lowlights. I don't know. I think he might be tempted to finish Flirt and go for a Purloin, though, and dare him to shoot in 10 seconds in a silent game. Especially, look where he's hiding. Could he even shoot him in 10 seconds?
They're
Could he even find him?
good options. There's the contact.
He
He
does!
does find him over his shoulder, just barely peeking out. He was waiting for any excuse.
Oh, goodness. So here's the question. Was it a bug thing, or was it just a Smallman hiding thing? Oh, my goodness. Shot him in the rotator cuff. How did he even find that shoulder?
That was impressive.
You know, you don't expect Spy Party to be a game about aim, but in that case, it absolutely was. That was a well-aimed shot. And it keeps the match alive.
All right. So, Lazybear holding on. It's 3-5. This is still very comebackable as we step in to Modern.
Wow.
Any 5 of 8.
And you'll take this. If you're a bear and you have a lead, you want venues like Modern where it's just really hard to take both.
I don't think you can call him a bear right now.
that was... I'm laughing too much at that joke. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Did I miss a joke? Really? Jeez.
It's not important. It's
Good.
not important.
All right. So, really, when you think about it, Lazybear with that win still just needs the one spy win. That's still what they're playing for. It's not out of the realm of possibility. You just got a very important sniper victory. Hopefully, you've tightened up the sniper game a little bit, so you're not going to give it away. But you still need that spy win, and Modern is just not the place for it. Ideally, might take a little bit of luck.
Yeah, this is definitely a tricky map to play as a spy. Oh, that's a good bug! That is a surprisingly good bug.
So, in conversation bugs, if the sniper's really watching, there's going to be a distinct sway. But sometimes, if you time it with the sway of the idle animation, it can be much harder to see. I think that might have been what happened there. It was not very visible, even though it was out front. It also was a totally counterintuitive bug right out front. Who would do that, right? The Amba wasn't in a particularly vulnerable position, but wasn't a particularly exposed one either. They were like in one of those things where it's harder to see the bug, but it feels like it should see, even though it isn't. That was a really gutsy move.
I liked that a whole heck of a lot. And he followed it up with grabbing a fingerprint from the briefcase, and now he's just gotten 51% on the flirt.
Yeah, and I think if you think you've gotten away with that bug, you just need to keep moving. You got to keep moving, you got to get stuff done, and you got to hope the party accommodates a little bit. You got to hope it's not one of those games where you're the only one who could be done with effects or one of the few people who's going to do a real banana bread. You got to just hope the party gives you at least average luck. There's a decent number of suspects, and you just got to make steady progress.
Hanging out in no man's land for a bit just to survey the party and act as inconspicuous as possible. Now setting up for a contact as people start to file into the conversation.
Pretty good one if it takes. Let me see here. Oh, one of the SDAs is out. 2 of the SDAs are out.
Oh,
that
man.
means only 5 people could have done a reel. 5.
That's spooky.
And that's bad luck because there's only, there were a decent number of lowlights, but you had 3 other partially filled conversations. You got to think the SDA would be in one of them, maybe that far one near the green bookshelf, maybe. I think there were 3 or 4 people there at the time. But no, one of them is at windows, the other's at bookshelves. We're down to 5 if a bear noticed it.
If a bear noticed it, that's a big if. As we step into the front of the map to try to pick up this next seduction, it's going to be tight. It is a green. It does come off, and that's a 2 flirt with 1:45 to play. 2 missions to go. One of them already half done.
A fingerprint purloin here would be very powerful if you time it well, and if you make sure one of those other BBers perhaps is the one who takes it. Got to really pay attention now.
Here we go. It's coming down to it. He's got a good amount of time behind him. The briefcase is available. Oh, no, didn't win the race to the briefcase. So he's not getting the fingerprint there.
I don't think it's going to hurt you. You still got time, but you're at the point in the game where the AMBA may or may not.
You got to get this delegate out to somebody. You do not want somebody arriving at the bar at an inopportune moment and ruining your game right now.
Plane Twin, by the way, has been into 2 statues in the last 30. But I don't believe one of the 5 possible BBers. That is a much harder thing to notice, though, if you don't make a specific 2 on Modern, who's done a real BB.
Under 50 seconds.
Are we going to have time to delegate that? Oh, that window leap was so
Lots
quick.
of movement.
He's delegating in the right place, though. This is one of the real BBers.
We still need to find a fingerprint, though,
Well-
and the ambassador's really not cooperating.
Except the purloin might trigger a shot regardless, but you're right. You don't want to have to rely on it.
You just gotta wait. Just gotta hope he goes to put back that book. 20 seconds. The time is running so low. The ambassador is really not cooperating. We're just gonna have to do something at the last second here.
The timer expired anyway. He's got a direct purloin.
It's 10 seconds. Everything is falling apart. He's
Can't reset up the
gotta.
time ad. Oh,
He's got-
goodness.
It's green.
Salmon's at Windows 2, and so is Teal. Teal is one of the real BBers again, but I think a bear's got him on this.
Oh,
I
I like that he's just sitting here and owning the fact that, yeah, I was at Windows.
It's going to be that statue. It's going to be that Amba statue. It's his first statue visit, so it's risky to be at statues, but it's not going to be... What? Is there still a print on that shelf? I hope
The
so.
Amba just put down the book, remember?
Okay,
He had to get
that's
the
right,
book
yeah.
and put the-
I completely forgot. Thank you for the reminder. Is this
Here
going
we
to do it,
go.
though? 10 seconds of OT is a long time to think about it.
Is this the wrong book?
He's going to wait. He's going to do it somewhere other than the shelf.
I think that was the wrong book. I think he thought there was a print there and there wasn't.
Oh, my goodness. Nope, there
No,
it is.
there was a print
He
there.
ran out of time!
Ran out of time! He ran out
wanted
of
to
time!
do it at
because
Windows!
He accidentally hit the watch check instead of the print!
Oh, goodness.
No!
I don't... Wodar, please look at the log there. Please take a moment. I need to see this. I don't know if he was going to be able to shoot. Remember, he would have had 10 seconds to think about it, but it really didn't feel like Morgan was a huge suspect. I think it's more likely than not he gets shot, but his odds would have had to be at least decent. Well, look at this. Started fingerprinting book, 0.5. So half a second left. He starts the fingerprint process, which we know takes about a second.
Yeah.
And look, he triggered the watch check at 2 seconds, 0.8. So that's when he wanted to hit that fingerprint.
Yep. Yep.
Looking at the party, there's not many suspects that would have gone shot in overtime. Maybe.
Well, let me see here.
But also, look, Lazybear is not in a position where it makes sense to shoot him for overtime.
It's a pretty tough shot. It's a pretty tough shot. I will say that the seduction target, who went to statues twice in the last minute or so, had put down the briefcase about 8 seconds early. The twin. The twin was a possible shot. I don't know if it happens or not, but there was a logical case for shooting the twin there given late activity. Now we will never know. It's hard to imagine he's going to get a better shot than that.
So what, like
Wow.
they would shoot
That
because they finished
hurts.
floating at the very end there then? Because like something has to trigger the overtime beeping, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So it'd be like flooding for the twin.
Maybe. Or, well, again, he put down the fingerprint. He put down the briefcase a little before this happened. I'm not sure. It might have been more than 10 seconds. It's very clear.
Well, I mean, like, the sniper's view is at 0000.
Yes.
So no matter what happens, as soon as you finish a mission, beep start. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It depends on what kind of command you have for the party.
Yeah.
That's rough. It felt like a winnable game. A couple of these have felt really winnable. Miss by one print.
That hurts so bad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, abearRAWR suddenly hanging out on match point, stepping in to the spy side of modern.
3, 2, 1, playing it.
Seems a little worse than it is. Lazybear has to win 2 games as sniper, remember. Just one as spy. That's still the one that matters most.
This is true.
And I'll remind you, there is a bear statue on the line here. I will mail it to the winner. This is not a joke, not a drill. It's going to happen.
49% on that first flirt is still in 2-flirt range if we hit a close green.
And an interesting choice, sometimes if you idle just a bit as one of the slowest characters like Orange Sari is on Modern or Library, that will get you a low light from certain snipers alone. You idle a little bit and you're slow, and they're going to think, you know what, if they actually manage to finish, it's either going to be really lucky, or they're going to have to move around so much that I'm going to get a chance to reconsider my low light.
Yeah. Oh man, Lazybear in chat saying that he wasn't even. Apparently, he wasn't even in the suspect in the last game.
That's pretty rough. It was such a beautiful game, so well spaced out, everything timed so well. You just feel for that, right? That's the problem with Modern sometimes. It's so spread out. It's really hard to account for. And those extra few seconds, they don't usually make the difference. But when you're trying to cut it that close, the fact that this venue's just a little bigger makes a huge difference.
Speaking of cutting it close, why could you not have stepped a few steps closer to the seduction target? We're on 94% on the flirt.
Yeah, and delegate to them too. It expires almost immediately. I don't think they're there. Might as well just send them off, though, a little more easily afterwards.
Oof.
And progress is okay. We're not in the red zone yet, but if you don't get something done in the next 30 seconds, you're going to be running low.
Well, looks like we're going to be picking up a book here.
And you want to animate, or do you want to leave? The book does get marked.
I don't think you really have time to step away with it and put it back innocently, especially on as slow a character as Orange Dress is.
Yep, do you put it back in, or do you put it back innocently? I think in this place you're right. You need to put it somewhere else. You need to kill a little time in the meantime, though. You need to at least finish this flirt. There it is. Question is, can you do something else to space this out and make it less obvious?
And you can't put it back at red because it's marked. It'll be seen too easily.
Probably, yeah. And green is just generally safer. If you want to get something done, green is
red.
That, followed by blue, followed by red. That's a fake. I assume that's going to be to try to cover for a book dump, and I don't think it's going to work.
Unfortunately, not going for it, and in conversation with suspected double agent, and at least one of the other DAs was out of combo.
Big moment, blue or green. It's going to be back to blue.
Interesting. This is...
Well, one of the reasons to do it is that sometimes if you go back with the right book, people will low-light you for wasting time. Again, especially if you're a slow character. It makes sense sometimes to do that.
We are wasting time, and that's the problem. Look at the clock. It's 1 minute and 10 seconds to play. We only have one mission done.
Yeah, fishing for low-lights at a minute, if that's the idea, a lot harder to do. It could be at this point they're just committed to not finishing this shot, which is perfectly reasonable sometimes.
It is. That's true. 1 minute to play now.
But is Lazybear going to think anyone else is done? If they have command of the party, this is just going to be a timeout.
That's true. There are 4, 5 other highlights.
Yeah. So this is really interesting, though. A bear is basically saying, I hope the party finishes. And I hope Lazybear notices and shoots. If they don't, then that's that. Because when they put that blue book back in, that pretty much signaled it. Not going to try to finish here.
Ooh, I like that green watch check. That is going to put more pressure on Lazybear to take a shot.
Well, it's kind of desperate, though, too, at the same time, because you know at that
point... now we're swapping. This could be bad.
Yeah, don't overthink it this time. We had this happen before, and he's like, okay, who was there? Who could it be? A bear correctly realized that a shot was not going to come off. That's why the swap and the timeout happened.
Lazybear, I think, knows that his main suspects for this swap just haven't done that much.
Yep. So look, he's got command of it this time. Remember in the veranda game, obviously he didn't shoot, that's fine, it's tough sometimes, but he didn't even really narrow the party down. He seemed really flummoxed by it. This time, after a few seconds delay, he gathers his thoughts and he gets the party way narrowed down, and it's correct. So, he just needs to wait now. We just need to hope Smallman doesn't do something, otherwise we've got our other finalist. A bear is just trying to play dead.
Smallman! Our fate is in your hands, Smallman.
It's in your small little hands. No, don't. What are you doing? He's just going to go put the book back. It's going to be boring, and the spy's going to run out of time. There it is.
All right. Lazybear, staying alive.
Yeah, a bear decides not to finish, decides to play dead, but Lazybear, I'm very impressed after some of those, difficult games earlier where they maybe lost the thread of the game a little bit or took a difficult shot or something like that. In this game, holds their shot on Modern, very impressive patience. If you're Lazybear, you're probably thinking, boy, I really wish I just managed to do that in maybe one more game.
I'm so angry
Or
about
man,
that.
I really wish I hadn't got screwed over by action priorities at the last second after a brilliant play to get myself what would have probably been a game.
Yeah, that too. Right now, you look at the score, it was a second ago. I don't know how. No, 2 to 3 of those games swung on the tiniest of things.
All right, ready for the next game?
Let's do it.
Potentially the deciding one.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially.
Right. 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And it
Lazybear.
is going to be on high-rise any 3 of 5 with no swap, no purloin, and no microfilm.
And here's what's interesting about this. I said before Lazybear had to win 2 sniper game one there. High rise, that sniper game is not a full-on conclusion by any stretch of the imagination, even for a good sniper. So even if Lazybear pulls this out, it's going to be tough to win the next one, but they got to do this first. Got to be patient and pick your spots.
Man, no matter what happens here, this set has been incredible.
It's been really good, and it's just the individual games, too. The individual games have been so dramatic, turning on the smallest things. We've seen so many games where it looks like there's going to be a timeout or something, and there's a rush of activity, and then the sniper just struggling to make sense of it.
Opening the game with a pair of flirts, we're up at 79%.
Plenty of time to flirt on high rise. Doesn't really matter. If you don't make a complete mess of it, you're going to be able to finish. It's really about watching the party and picking your spot.
Yeah, but picking your spot is the big one, because Lazybear has never been that close to a seduction target. He's been distancing himself very nicely.
Yeah, and against a bear on a 3-5 variant, it is actually the kind that might get around the margins if, for example, 2 or 3 people could be done when the banana bread goes off. So there is something to be said for it. It makes sense to space out the flirts here. You can afford to, and you're against a player and a venue setup where it actually makes sense potentially to track those flirts.
Here comes the contact. 1 low light available. That was a very, very nice contact.
Which is fake, but the SDA was in with them, and as you said, 1 low light. So if you're doing a real BB later, I think the idea is to frame Papa here, or at least someone else. Papa, of course, has the highlight. I think the idea is I'll frame, but I have a chance to finish it later if I need to.
I like this.
You still have a lot of options, but those options are about to winnow very, very quick. Because you don't have a fingerprint, you don't have any inspects.
In position for the last flirt, but you're right, we are down to 1:15 already, and still, theoretically, technically no completions.
There's one.
There's one indeed. We can't contact until Papa gets back in conversation.
Yeah, you really don't want to give off any more low lights at this point, if you can help it.
45 seconds.
It just doesn't look like anyone could even theoretically be done. Have we had any sound? One, maybe? This is rough.
I don't think we have.
This is
Papa's
rough.
back in conversation. We can get this contact now, but where's the last mission coming from?
I don't know, and I don't think there's been any fingerprints either. I just don't think anyone could done. I don't think this was the game to frame. It's unfortunate. Sometimes that happens on high-rise. Done.
There's the contact.
He's just going to have to rush a bug, I think. He can't go to inspects. It's going to be overtime in 2. Gonna have to bug, and it's not going to be pretty. The Amba's in a terrible place.
Oh, this is so bad. He's going to wait for the Amba to move and try to intercept him, I think. 5 seconds. It's going to be overtime no matter what happens.
There's an opportunity,
chance. There's the bug. He's got to run. He's not going to make it.
He's got him.
The shot comes off, and abearRAWR takes it home.
And abearRAWR is in the finals. Complete competitive event. Again, it was a sub in Summer Cup. That bug, actually, given how desperate we were there and the long wait time and how vulnerable Amba was not before, that was about as good a situation as you could hope for. The bump was bad, but the Amba did exactly what you needed to. And Lazybear didn't do it perfectly, but took pretty good advantage of the situation. But at that point, no one else could be done theoretically. OT gave them plenty of time, and abear takes it home. And Lazybear sitting there left wondering what could have been if you changed just a few small details.
And how many spies would have just gone for the bug at 11
Yes.
seconds and hoped.
Yes.
Like, the patience it took to get that good of a bug in that situation was very impressive.
Yeah, I actually think it was the right move. It's obviously high risk because if the Amba starts running away from you, it's a fast. You might not even literally get a chance. But the odds of getting away with a bug in that position are so low that I'd rather take the 15 or whatever % chance that the Amba's going to come by us instead and maybe you get away with it. I think it was the right choice. It must have been excruciating to be 3 or 4 seconds away from losing the entire tournament, not making the finals, having the whole thing be over, and still trusting that the Amba is going to turn one direction rather than the other. It was the right choice. They maximized their chances, but it was not the game to do what they did. Nobody else could.
But by God, it almost worked.
It almost worked. And boy, if you needed a slogan for this match, that's what it would be. It almost worked.
Yeah.
So many things almost worked. Really tough. Well played to both. So many unconventional plays. Some worked, some didn't. But the counterintuitive plays ultimately won the day here.
What an incredible set that was.
Yeah, and now it's going to be abearRAWR against Crazy Kaylee in the Winter Cup Finals, and he's already got him.
abearRAWR versus Crazy Kaylee. Oh man, that is going to be one for the record books.
Well, you have to be crazy to fight a bear.
Oh my God.
I think that's how we end this, right? That has to be it.
We're not topping it. Let's go on. Or we're not going any worse. Let's say.
So I'd like to thank our casters here, Taboshi. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And a no thank you to Wondercrack.
I really didn't think I was going to get thanked. That's okay.
Yeah. Alright. Thank you all for joining us. Do we have a plan for the finals yet? Or is that still up in the air?
Nothing official yet. I will be surprised if we don't get a live match, but probably you can expect it next weekend sometime around the same time.
Alright. So yeah, this has been the Spy Party Winter Cup. What, semifinals? Yeah,
Semifinals.
Alright. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
of bear says, who's been sleeping in my bed? Papa Bear. What kind of bear says, who's been sleeping in my bed?
Mama Bear.
And what kind of bear says, cougar back?
Baby Bear.
Yeah, what kind of bear are you? What kind of bear are you? Tell me true. What kind of bear are you? I'll give you those clues. What kind of bear are you? It gets harder.
Uh-oh.
Put on your thinking cap. What kind of bear do you snuggle with at night?
Teddy Bear.
And what kind of bear is friends with Piglet?
Pooh Bear.
Yes. And what kind of bear steals your picnic basket?
Yogi Bear.
And what kind of bear is hardly even there?
Barely?
Barely.
And what kind of bear goes around without shoes?
Barefoot.
And what kind of bear sings between tenor and bass?
Baritone.
And what kind of bear is full of monkeys?
Barrel of monkeys.
What kind of bear is a scary fish with sharp teeth?
Barracuda.
What kind of bear are you? What kind of bear are you? Tell me true. What kind of bear are you? I'll give you those clues. What kind of bear are you? It gets harder.
Oh,
Put on your thinking cap, 'cause the next ones aren't bears,
wait, what?
they're fish.
Oh.
What kind of fish cracks a mountain?
Fisher?
And what kind of fish is related to a weasel and a badger?
Fisher?
What?
Really? Yep, look it up. And what kind of fish likes to catch fish?
A fisherman.
And what kind of fish is part of a nuclear reaction?
Fishing.
And what kind of fish works for the government?
Official.
And what kind of fish is fake?
Artificial.
Yes. And what kind of fish is small and used to live in the library? Teeny tiny.
Microfish.
Micro?
I don't know what that is.
What is that? Is it a microwave?
No, film with a bunch of small pictures.
Oh.
And what kind of fish used to play chess?
Bobby Fischer.
What kind of fish are you? What kind of fish are you? Tell me true. What kind of fish are you? I'll give you those clues. What kind of fish are you? It gets harder.
Uh-oh.
Put on your thinking cap, 'cause the next ones aren't bears or fish, they're bats. What kind of bat is held by a batter?
A bat.
And what kind of bat is a flutter of the eyelashes?
A bat.
And what kind of bat is a unit of fiberglass insulation?
A bat.
And what kind of bat lives in a cave?
A bat.
Can we move on?